Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Profit Data. So today exactly I'm gonna talk about how to get free of cost historical data. Okay. But to proceed with these things, you definitely require Allies Blue account. Okay. So if you don't have an account, just check link in the description. Follow the link and fill the details and get an account. Okay. And if you already have an account, just follow the steps and you are able to. If you know about the WebSocket data, just store them, and if you fetch them, they can also be called as an historical data. Require this, but to perform, if you want to do some calculations and if you are not storing the data, then definitely historical data is required. So let's go for this thing. So first thing is required, I must say that from date and to date is very much necessary to perform these operations. Okay, so we definitely do that part thing first, and then we will carry each and everything. Okay, so for that we required an import library which will be from date time. Okay, import date time, and time delta will be there. Okay, so these are the things is required. Now what happens, we required a from date and to date, from date as a start time, to date as an end time. Okay, so how you can call from date. Now what happens, see some of things are which is in decimal format, we need to take it out. Okay, so exactly we got the from date, so we already understood the particular point which we want to fetch. Okay, so from those things we exactly looking for. Okay, so only int if I fetch this decimal points is definitely not required for me. This is an extra step. So if I call this some 9:15 and 0 second and something like this, so it will be enough for me. So what I'm gonna do is I just that is definitely decimal values are there. So first of all I will say them as an integer, because I already told you that it should be in an integer. Okay, because the decimal values are there, so we need to particularly give some some clean stuff. And the integer, when I refer API key, that while I'm calling from HTTP request, okay, I need to proceed in Python, especially it will be in a string only. Okay, so if I am producing some kind of a results, I have to produce whatever the required results are there. So definitely we required is in string. Okay, so this is how I will do. Okay, so if I say from date, so this is how it's gonna fetch for me. Okay, so this is enough. So this is what I'm looking for, and I got the timestamp. Okay, so now whatever you got these things, you can still convert into your required timestamp. Okay, you are if I'm talking about timestamp, means whatever the calculation is there as in date time you're looking for, you can convert those things. Okay, so as well you can check whether it is right or wrong. Okay, because we are fetching from initial point, so I think there is no requirement to check once again. Now what happens, from date and from date is done, so we'll we will copy the same and we will remove some stuff and add some certain things in these things. Okay, now what happens, time data is definitely not required. I required only today's date, so I will check what is the today's date is there. Okay, so if you are fetching something, okay, especially I required you know today's data. Okay, today's data means after this I'm not proceeding any kind of a data. So today is a mark point which exactly I'm looking for the data. So this is how import request. Okay, so you have been already done a lot of videos regarding this stuff, okay, especially calling the HTTP request. Now whatever I'm proceeding, you can still define, but I'm not going to define. I'm take it as in raw and just give the input, that's it, okay. So what we have to say, so suppose if I get any kind of a data, especially whatever request I am getting, and just say r equals request, okay, dot get, and I'm gonna give the URL here, okay. So that's it. So we will say, and if you're looking any kind of other maximum required, I must say that go for, like, you know, subscribe any kind of a from the company where they are exactly offering from either zero the or true data, so that will be good, okay. So we have to call that you know, URL, which will be ant.alliesblueonline.com. so exactly we'll get the API data from here itself, okay. So I'm exactly calling, and the version is already changed, but here what we are fetching is from version 1. So API charts, so this is the format which you need to follow. There is no exception in these things, okay. So API version 1 charts we got, okay. Now what we have to say is TDV, okay. And what are the parameters are required, I'm gonna talk about those parameters. So we need an exchange, and after everything exchange ampersand. So after, like, you know, whatever the parameters I need to give them, so I need to give them exchange token, okay. And candle type is definitely you don't have to give anything, just say as in 1, okay. And now what happens, this candle type is done, so we have to give so we have to give start time, okay, ampersand end time, okay. So we will check the other thing as well, okay, whether it is correct or not, okay. So we will check this later as well. So we required start time and end time, and last will be data underscore duration, okay. Now what happens, I need to give them in the format which is required, so I will fully format and keep it in one place only. So this is how you should follow each and everything. So token, whatever the tokens is there, so you have to give in this way. Start time, okay, you have to give each and everything in a format. And data duration means interval, whatever the time frame you are looking, 1 minute, 2 minutes, or whatever the things are there, okay. So this is how you should give. So data duration is enough, so we'll format this stuff, okay. I mean dot format. So here up to here it is done, and I will go with the format. And in format, what are the things are required? So first of all we'll go with the exchange, okay. So what I'm gonna say is as token, and from date to date is already done, so we will give this stuff, okay. And so interval is also there, so from date to date is done, so we will give this interval, so that's it, done, okay. And one more thing is there, we have to give this headers means your access token, okay. And which we will see this later. So first of all, up to this everything is good, okay, and we will definitely gonna call. Now what happens, I need to fill these things. So for that purpose I required, first of all we'll go with the token, and for token purpose you know, we need to call our Allies Blue, okay. For that Allies Blue we require to give username, password, and access tokens, you already know. So it is very much simple. All you have to say is like from underscore allies, sorry, from allies underscore blue import star, okay. So we'll fetch each and everything. Now what happens, alias equals alias blue, and what other things are there? Username, password, and access token. So here it is done. Okay, now I'm gonna call the token. So I think you know how we can call the token, which have been all. Okay, so after that token, what happens? We need to provide exchange as well as this trading symbol. In this case, I must say as a spot symbol which I'm looking for. Okay, so what I have to say is like exchange, and for the exchange which I carry for this purpose, it is in NSE. Okay, which I am fetching as a spot symbol. If I fetch for like some kind of NFO instruments, it will be NFO. So spot symbol I will say as in this format you need to refer. Okay, you need to give it in this way. So Nifty Bank and Nifty 50, so you can check like their documentation. So as per mentioned, just give these things. Now what happens, I need to call this token. So I have to say token equals alias dot get underscore instrument by symbol. Okay, and what are the things I have to give? Exchange comma spot symbol, and we will print and see these things if it is working or not. Okay, so now what happens, print token. Okay, at 1. Okay, so it's in 0th, 1, 2, so these other things will be there. So I think this is spot symbol, so name will be there, there will be no expiry or lot size will be there. Okay, so only this token is required for me. I think I can give them a master contract download and see whether everything is good or not. So I think this is now it is good. Okay, so whatever it is fetching is perfectly. So just first element I required, and so suppose if I put in a data frame, so I can call the column and then I mean row and then column. So instead of this, if we'll do, I think it is better. So if I call the token, so only, and the token is definitely what I'm looking for, so I will give them. The candle type is already done, start time, end time is done. Okay, so interval I have to say as in after this, so I'm going as a stepwise. So interval, as I can say, interval equals 1, and I'm talking about headers. Okay, so in this case one more thing is there, we can say then headers. Okay, so or otherwise we can call in this. Okay, so now what happens, there is a format is there which we need to follow, which is x minus authorization minus dash token. So I think here it is done, and we will call this access token. So up to this we are good to go, and we will fill these things and we will see everything is good or not. Okay, so headers equals, I will give as an head, and I will see the first in JSON where I want to call. Okay, so I will in exchange is definitely for the spot symbol as in token which I count will be NSE. Okay, but for this is definitely NSE underscore indices only. Okay, and spot symbol maybe it is retained the same. So if I see and check whether I'm able to get the data or not. So I think I can process the data, I'm able to get the data which I'm looking for. Okay, so it is simple. Now I will put them in a data frame and fetch them as per my requirement. Okay, So it's simple. I will say is data equals, so it is definitely my historical data. So please follow this format, okay, and follow this video. So code, I think have been coded in front of yours, so there is no should not mistake this stuff, okay. And if I call this in a JSON, and I'll have to say data and candles. Almost all every data is in this format only for each and everything while calling historical data. And you have to give the columns. So I think you know my favorite column is date, okay, open, high, low, and in the end volume. I think for spot the volume would be available, but for other things it is definitely will be there. So we'll print the data and we'll see. I didn't give the close, so it is important column. Okay, so I think we are good to go. So if you want to change any kind of things in this specially, okay, so if I have to like I'm going with the spot symbol, this is a Nifty bank, okay, Nifty 50 as well in this way. Okay, so to follow this format, and if it is not indices, you just have to take it out this indices, okay, and just say whichever you want. So if I say Tata Motors, and whatever the trading symbol, your spot symbol you are referring, there should be both for your token as well, and these things should be get matched, okay. So I think only as per the exchange the indices you have to add, otherwise everything is good to go. So this is how you can fetch and can utilize the historical data as per your requirement. So at least 5 days data I got, okay, starting from 21, okay. I can say isn't 6 days data, so starting from like 0th array, so we can say 6 days data we are getting. So we can utilize as per whatever the formula is there, so we can calculate, and then we can combine with our real-time data and can utilize as per our requirement. So see that and make good use of these things, okay. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.